Hello friends, for opening Demat account you can make use of the link available in description. When the companies initially enter into the share market, they bring IPO, that is initial public offering. In this video I am going to discuss the complete details about initial public offering, and finally I had discussed about offer for sale, further public offer, bulk deal and block deal also. The company shares can be purchased from two types of market. One is primary market, that is called as IPO, initial public offering. Next is secondary market, that is simply stock exchanges like Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. First we will see about primary market. While a company entering into share market for the first time, they issue shares to the public and raise the fund from the public. That is primary market. The fund raised from this primary market will be used by the company to develop their business. In this primary market, that company will directly issue the shares to public and public will directly pay to that company. In this primary market, there is no work for stock exchanges. Here, trading happens directly between that company and investors. The trade happening in this primary market is IPO, that is initial public offering. As the companies issue a specific quantity of shares for the first time to the public, so they issue shares in a offer price, so that whenever any companies bring IPO, there will be more attention among investors. Next, secondary market, that is stock exchanges. In simple, NSE and BSE are the secondary market. Trading in primary market will happen for the first time alone. That's it. That company's job will get over by that. After that, if any investors want to buy or sell that company shares, then they has to approach stock exchanges through the stock brokers. Simply, share market is the secondary market. Till now, Patanjali company had not started their trading in share market. If they like to enter into share market for raising fund, then first they has to bring IPO. Through IPO, they issue some percentage of shares to the public. Once the Patanjali company shares reached in the hand of public, then from the next day onwards, the Patanjali shares will start trading in stock exchange. Before seeing detailedly about IPO, I will shortly tell about types of investors. First type is RII, that is retail individual investors. While any company bring IPO, in that IPO, any individual investors, if they invest less than 2 lakh rupees, then that investors will come under this retail individual investors category. Second type is HNI, that is high net worth individuals. While any company brings IPO, in that IPO, any individual investors, if they invest more than 2 lakh rupees, then that investors will come under high net worth individuals. This is a rich category investors. Third type is DII, that is domestic institutional investors. Individual investors will not come under this category. This category means for a organization or any institution who collect money from a group of people and invest in share market. First, banks will come under this DII category. Bank can invest only little amount in share market because RBI will not allow banks to invest more money in share market. So that banks, what they will do means, banks will have their own subsidiary companies. Like HDFC AMC Limited is a mutual fund which is a subsidiary of HDFC Bank. This mutual fund can invest any amount in share market. There is no restriction for that. Next, insurance companies also will come under this DII category. LIC is one of the major investor in share market. Whenever the market crashes and Sensex and Nifty drop, that time Indian government itself will recommend LIC to buy many quantity of shares. If LIC purchase many quantity of shares, then demand will increase in market, and so that again the market will become stable. In this, LIC also will get huge benefit because it purchased the shares at very low cost and later it will sell at high price. Finally, mutual fund will also come under this DII category. Mutual fund collect money from the public and they invest directly in share market through professionals. In the profit, mutual fund will take some commission. Next type is FII or FPI, that is foreign institutional investors or foreign portfolio investors. All the foreign investment in share market comes under this category only. Why the investors are giving more attention to IPO? We will see that with one example. Recently in December 2019, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank had brought IPO. In IPO, the issuing price of one share is 37 rupees. After the IPO, on very first day when that share started its trading, the share's opening price is 58 rupees. For investors, 21 rupees profit from one share, almost 55% profit. This profit you cannot get in any government saving schemes. But blindly you cannot expect all the IPO will give profit like that, because some of the IPOs got ended in loss also. One example is Quick Heal. It is a antivirus company. They brought IPO in 2016. Their issuing price in IPO is 321 rupees, but on the first day of trading, their opening price is 305 rupees. Almost 16 rupees loss from one share. So, in share market, don't invest beyond your limit. How much loss you can bear, that much amount alone you invest. Next, if a company launch IPO, then what are the procedures they has to follow and what are the rules and regulations were framed by SEBI? Step by step we will see that. If any company wants to raise fund by launching IPO, then first they has to get permission from SEBI. For getting permission, initially they has to submit company's last 3 years balance sheet and last 5 years profit and loss statement and cash flow statement with proof. Next, if that company is a private limited company, then they has to convert to public limited company. One auditor from SEBI will verify the proof submitted by that company, and then only SEBI will give permission to that company to launch IPO. SEBI frames some strict rules because that company should not involve in any fraud after raising fund through IPO. For what purpose the company raise fund and whether that fund is used for that purpose only, everything will be watched by SEBI. After getting approval from SEBI, first step a company has to do is, based on company's authorized capital, that company has to decide face value of the share and total number of shares. Authorized capital is nothing but how much amount a promoter had initially invested to start the business. That is authorized capital. Let me assume a company. In that company, before 6 years, promoter had spent 1 lakh rupees to start the business. So, for that company, authorized capital is rupees 1 lakh. Let me assume before 6 years only one person had started this company with initial investment of rupees 1 lakh. So authorized capital is 1 lakh and promoter is only one person. So that company's number of shares will be only one. That one share will be with that promoter only. Next, that one share's face value will be rupees 1 lakh, because face value is nothing but initial value or historical value of the share. Here, that one share's initial value is 1 lakh. So, face value is 1 lakh. Company's authorized capital is 1 lakh rupees. When that company's number of share is only 1, that time face value of that share is 1 lakh. Now, if they fix the face value of the share as very small amount, then they will get n number of shares. For simple understanding, if I take 1 liter capacity container, that container can hold maximum 1 liter of water, not more than that. Here, authorized capital is like that container and number of shares is like water. How much is the authorized capital? That much number of shares only company can create. For example, if they take face value of the share as 1 rupee, then total number of shares will be 1 lakh. If they take face value as 10 rupees, then company's total number of shares will be 10,000. For this calculation, formula is authorized capital equal to face value of the share into total number of shares. Promoter can decide the face value of the share. So, in our example, if that promoter decides face value as 10 rupees, then authorized capital 1 lakh rupees divided by face value 10 rupees, we will get 10,000. That company's total number of shares will be 10,000. Next, promoter will decide how much quantity of the shares to be issued to the public like that. For example, if that promoter decides 40% of the shares to be issued to the public, that means promoter plan to keep 6,000 shares in his own promoter holding and plan to issue 4,000 shares to the public. Authorized capital of that company is rupees 1 lakh. That means before 6 years the worth of that company is rupees 1 lakh. But now before launching IPO, that company will calculate the current net worth of that company at present stage. For example, let me assume a person have a land of worth 10 lakhs and against that land he have taken 5 lakhs loan. Then net worth of that land will be 10 lakhs minus loan amount 5 lakhs, we will get 5 lakhs. So net worth of that land will be 5 lakhs. In the same way, for companies also we can calculate the net worth. A company's current net worth will be calculated by a simple formula of assets minus external liabilities. Land, building, equipments, these things will come under asset, loan will come under liabilities. In our example, let me assume that company's asset is 5 lakh rupees minus liabilities is 2.5 lakhs rupees. We will get 2.5 lakhs. So, the current net worth of that company is 2.5 lakhs. In simple, I can tell that the value of the business had increased from rupees 1 lakh to presently rupees 2.5 lakhs. For calculating the current worth of one share, we have to divide current net worth 2.5 lakhs by total number of shares 10,000. We will get current worth of one share as 25 rupees. Current worth of one share is called as book value. In simple way, face value is nothing but the value of the share when the business is started. Book value is the worth of the share at present. In IPO, that company will not issue the shares for book value of 25 rupees because in last 6 years that company's business had developed and they have created good name in the market. So, they will issue the shares higher than the book value. Promoter will have board meeting and in that board meeting only the shares issuing price will be decided. Let me assume that in our example that company have decided the issuing price as rupees 70. Next step, that company will prepare a prospectus. In that prospectus, all the details about that company will be mentioned. For example, about promoter, where company is located, how many branches are there, balance sheet, profit and loss statement, cash flow statement. In this very important thing we have to note down is for what purpose they are raising fund through IPO. That we have to check. That company will submit the prepared prospectus to SEBI. That copy is called as draft red herring prospectus. After verifying the draft copy, SEBI will give approval, then only that company will prepare main copy. That main copy is called as red herring prospectus. Next step, that company will approach a merchant banker. Merchant banker is not like a normal bank. Actual role of merchant banker is to help the company for raising fund through IPO. Merchant bankers will introduce many institutional investors to that company. We know who are the institutional investors like banks, insurance companies, mutual funds. Through merchant bankers, that company representative will approach many banks, insurance companies and many mutual funds also. That company's representative will explain about their business individually to all that investors. Finally, to all that investors, that representative will announce the issuing price of the share as 70 rupees. These banks, insurance companies and mutual funds, in that who are all ready to invest in this company, they will separately allot an auditor for analyzing and they will find out the real worth of that company. Based on the analysis, all that investors will negotiate the issuing price of that company. Some investors may negotiate for 67 rupees, some may negotiate for 68, some may negotiate for 69 rupees. That company's representative will note down all the negotiation price from the investors and he will submit that negotiation price to that company's director. Based on the investors' negotiation prices, that company will decide a price band for the share. In our example, let me assume that that company had fixed the price band for one share as rupees 66 to rupees 70. Whenever any company comes with the IPO, they will not announce any fixed price for the shares. Instead, they will announce a price band like 36 to 37 rupees, 80 to 85 rupees. Like that, they will announce a price band for the shares. While applying for IPO, investors has to analyze the real worth of that company shares. From the price band, which price you are thinking as a best price. For that price, you can quote your buy order. One more thing is, in IPO, you cannot apply for one share or two shares like that. The company will decide one lot size as a minimum order quantity. Recently, Ujjivan Bank had brought IPO. That Ujjivan Bank had decided minimum order quantity lot size as 400 shares. If you are applying for that IPO, then you have to apply for one lot size or two lot size like that. In one lot size, total 400 shares will be there. In our example, that company's price band is 66 to 70 rupees and let me assume that that company have decided one lot size as 210 shares. If any investors want to buy the shares in this IPO, then they have to apply for one lot size or two lot size like that. If I am planning to purchase the shares in this IPO, then first I will do the analysis about that company and I will decide the best price to apply. For example, I am placing buy order for one lot size and for the price of 70 rupees. In one lot size, 210 shares are there. 210 shares into 70 rupees, 14,700 rupees will come. If I want to apply for this IPO, then 14,700 rupees I should have minimum in my account. While bringing IPO, most of the companies, how they decide the lot size means one lot size value should come around 15,000 rupees. Like that only they decide the number of shares in one lot size. In our example, this company's one lot size value is 14,700 rupees. If I place a buy order for one lot size, then 14,700 rupees will be locked in my account. In this IPO, if the shares got allotted for me, then that amount will go to the company's account. If I didn't get shares, then that amount will remain in my account itself. While the company is offering the shares in IPO, they will offer like this. For RII category 2 crore shares, for HNI category 1 crore shares, for DII category 1 crore shares. Like this they will offer. If I place an order, that order will go to RII category. In this slide, instead of HNI, they have mentioned NII. That is nothing but net worth individual investors. Similarly, instead of DII, they have mentioned QIB. That is nothing but qualified institutional buyers. If any company brings IPO, that news will come in well advanced. A best website to get information about IPO is chitturgarg.com. That website will provide all the informations like what is the price band, what is the minimum order quantity, when IPO will open and when it will close. Like that all informations you can collect it from this website. Mostly IPO will open for 3 days. Within that 3 days you have to apply for that IPO. Within that 3 days, how many investors had applied for the IPO, that information also you can get it from that website. Mostly the IPO news will come like this. This company IPO got oversubscribed. This company IPO got undersubscribed. Like this news will come. Undersubscribed means if a company issue 4,000 shares, suppose against that 4,000 shares, 3,000 application only received means that is undersubscribed. Suppose against 4,000 shares, 5,000 application received means that is oversubscribed. In 2017, DMart had brought IPO. That IPO was totally 104 times oversubscribed. If any company's IPO get undersubscribed, then all the subscribers will get shares. But if any company's IPO get oversubscribed, then how the shares will be allotted we will see now. First we will see how the shares will be allotted for QIB and NII category. Let me assume that this company's one lot size is 100 shares. While applying for IPO, like me, a retail investor will apply for one lot size or two lot size or maximum 10 lot size. But QIB and NII category people, they will apply for 100 lot, 200 lot or 1000 lots. Like this they will apply. If QIB and NII category got oversubscribed means, then they will get shares proportionately. Let me assume that one person from NII category had applied for 100 lot. Suppose that NII category is 2 times oversubscribed means, then he will get 50 lot of shares. Suppose that category got 100 times oversubscribed means, then he will get only 1 lot. Next, RII category got oversubscribed means, then they will get shares based on the lottery system. If RII category get 7 times oversubscribed means, then from 7 persons application, 1 person's application will be selected based on lottery system and he will get shares of 1 lot. For getting shares in IPO, many retail investors usually open Demat account in name of all the family members. In name of minor children also Demat account can be opened. A family account is also possible in name of Hindu undivided family. Suppose in a single family from 7 different account, if they apply for IPO, then chances of getting shares through lottery system is high. Using PAN card, one person can open multiple number of Demat account. But for IPO, one person can submit only one application. If any person submit multiple application through his multiple account, then all his applications will be rejected. Some company IPO will get undersubscribed. If any company's IPO doesn't reach minimum 90% subscription, then that company's IPO will be cancelled by SEBI. For example, let me assume that a company brings IPO and issue 100 shares in this IPO, then that company should receive at least 90 applications. If 90 applications not received, then that company's IPO will be cancelled by SEBI. So that for the safety purpose, every company will have an underwriter. Underwriters are nothing but investors like bank, insurance company, mutual fund. Suppose any company's IPO got undersubscribed, then in that IPO, for reaching 90% subscription, how much shortage is there? That shortage shares will be purchased by underwriter. For example, a company issues 100 shares in IPO and received only 60 applications. Then, in this example, for reaching 90% subscription, shortage was 30 applications. This 30 shortage applications will be subscribed by the underwriter. Next, we will see from the price band how the company decides the issuing price of the shares. Nowadays, most of the companies IPO getting oversubscribed, like 50 times, 100 times oversubscription like that. In case of oversubscription, the company will decide simply the highest price of the price band as the issuing price. That is 70 rupees as the issuing price. In other cases, how they will select the issuing price, we will see now. Let me assume a company had issued 100 shares and received 100 application. In that, against 66 rupees, received 10 application. For 67 rupees, received 20 application. For 68, 20 application. For 69 rupees, 30 application. And finally, for 70 rupees, 20 applications received. In this situation, how that company will decide the issuing price, we will see now. This company will not decide 70 rupees as the issuing price, because if they select 70 rupees, then for that 70 rupees only 20 applications they had received. So this will not satisfy the 90% minimum subscription. Next, if they selected 69 rupees, then totally they have received 20 plus 30, 50 applications. So this will not satisfy the 90% minimum subscription. Next, if they selected 68 rupees, then totally they had received 20 plus 30 plus 20, that is 70 applications. So this also will not satisfy 90% minimum subscription. Finally, if they select 67 rupees, then totally they had received 20 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20, that is 90 applications. This will satisfy 90% minimum subscription criteria. So that company will decide rupees 67 as the issuing price. More than this, that company will not decrease the issuing price of the shares. Finally, who had placed order for 67 rupees and above will get shares. That is, for 90 applications, shares will be allotted. As the issuing price is 67 rupees. So, those who placed the application for above 67 rupees, they will get back their balance money in their account. For example, those who placed for 70 rupees, they will get 3 rupees return. In this IPO, those who placed the application for 66 rupees, they will not get any shares. Institutional investors, they will have a separate auditor to analyze the price, and based on the analysis only they will place the application. Based on their applications only, mostly issuing price will be decided. So, retail investors like us, in the safer side, they can place the application in the higher price itself. While bringing IPO, every companies will give tentative date. This was the tentative date given by DMart while bringing IPO in 2017. In that they will mention from which date to which date the IPO will be opened, when the shares get allotted, when the shares will be credited in Demat account. They will also mention when the shares starts trading in stock exchange. Mostly all the companies will follow this same procedure. The company will open an escrow account. In that escrow account only, the fund which was raised through IPO will get deposited. Escrow account is an account which holds that company's fund safely, and that company can use that fund for specific reasons only. For what purpose they had raised the fund through IPO, for that purpose only they can use that fund. Through this escrow account, SEBI can easily watch the activities of the company. Suppose in IPO shares got allotted for you, but shares did not come to your Demat account, means for this you cannot contact your stockbrokers, because there is no connection between IPO and stockbrokers. You should contact registrar and share transfer agents, that is RTAs. This RTAs only will transfer that company shares to investors Demat account. This RTAs detail will be available in company's prospectus. For doing very fine analysis, you should go through the company's prospectus. About IPO, other informations you can get it from Chittoor Garg website. All major informations you can get it from this website. IPO means for the first time the company issues shares to the public. Whether Reliance Industries Limited can bring IPO means, for that answer is no, because Reliance Industries Limited is already trading in NSE and BSE. So if they further want to raise the fund means, then they can raise the fund through OFS, that is offer for sale, or FPO, that is further public offer. Through this OFS and FPO, company can issue shares to the public and raise the additional fund. First we will see what is offer for sale. From promoters holding, promoter issue the shares to the public for raising fund means that is offer for sale. In our example, promoter have 6,000 shares and public have 4,000 shares. Now, from the 6,000 shares, if promoter issues 1,000 shares to the public means that is offer for sale. After giving 1,000 shares to the public, now both the promoter and public will have each 5,000 shares. That is, after bringing offer for sale, that company's promoter holding will be 50% and public holding will be 50%. Next, in further public offer, promoter will create new shares and issue that shares to the public for raising fund. In our example, from the authorized capital of rupees 1 lakh, totally 10,000 shares were created. And in that 10,000 shares, 4,000 shares were issued to the public through IPO and remaining 6,000 shares were with promoter holding. Now, how that company will create new shares means that company will transfer some amount from the profit of that company to the authorized capital. Here let me assume that that company had transferred rupees 20,000 to the authorized capital. From that additional authorized capital of rupees 20,000, if you divide by face value of 10 rupees, then newly created shares will be totally 2,000 shares. That newly created shares will be issued to the public. This is called as further public offer or follow-on public offer. In our example, newly created 2,000 shares were given to public. So, total number of shares with public will become 6,000 shares. Because of this, now promoter holding will reduce to 50% and public holding will increase to 50%. In further public offer, if promoter likes to purchase the shares means there is no objection for that. He can also purchase the shares. If any company brings OFS or FPO, then that news will come in well advanced in website like moneycontrol.com. Actually, why the companies were bringing OFS or FPO means they don't have enough fund. For raising fund, instead of taking loan, they are coming with OFS or FPO. If any company brings OFS or FPO, then you have to analyze first for what purpose the companies are raising fund, like starting a new project or settling the old loan, like that. For what purpose the companies are bringing OFS and FPO, you have to analyze that and then you have to buy the shares. Last term we are going to see is bulk deal and block deal. If any company's bulk quantity of shares interchanged between promoter and any institutional investors, that is called as bulk deal and block deal. In this deal, promoter can be a buyer or seller. For example, if Britannia company promoter needs immediately any fund, then that promoter can sell a bulk quantity of shares. Like 5 lakh shares he can sell to any mutual fund and immediately he can raise fund. Similarly, if that promoter have money, then he can buy a bulk quantity of shares from any mutual fund also. That interchanged bulk quantity of shares, if it is minimum 5 lakh shares or minimum 5 crore worth of shares, then that is called as block deal. Suppose that bulk quantity of shares, if it is around 0.5% of company's total shares, then that is called as bulk deal. Information about a company's block deal and bulk deal will be updated frequently in Money Control website. If any company's promoter continuously buying shares through block deal and bulk deal means, then public will have more confidence on that company and that is a positive sign for that company. If any company's promoter continuously selling the shares through block deal and bulk deal, then better not to invest in that company. If that company's shares are available very cheaply, then also don't buy that shares. We have prepared totally 8 videos in the concept of basics of stock market and totally 10 videos in the concept of fundamental analysis. By watching those videos continuously, you will get complete idea about stock market and you will feel easy to invest in stock market. In description you can find those videos link. If you have any doubt in this video, please comment, I will reply.